Good afternoon. Glad you could join us today. So let's just get started. So this is Go for Lunch. We're talking about Mac tips and tricks on December the 5th, 2023, brought to you by GoFor Technology, where we make your technology work for you. I'm Roger Harmon, your host. Today is International Volunteer Day. So if you are already volunteering, I salute you. And if you thought maybe you would like to volunteer, this is a good day to get in touch with that organization that you'd like to volunteer with and sign up. It'll help them and it'll make you feel better. So, Mac tips and tricks. We had a good reaction to last week's program. So we're going to kind of extend that a little bit and get into some more nitty-gritty of how you can customize and optimize your experience on your Mac. So let's turn on Do Not Disturb here. Okay. All right, so we're going to get into the Finder. Of course, the Finder is aptly named because it helps you find things. So there's ways to clean up the Finder. So you can just do a cleanup, which will organize the files and folders in a nice, neat manner. Or you can use certain criteria, such as cleanup by name, to do that. So let's jump into that Finder right now. So here we are. Just for kicks, let's go to the icon view. So up here we have 4 views. We have the 4 little squares, which is the icon view. We have the list view, which is what we're in right now. And we have the gallery view. And I forgot the name of this 4th view. It'll come to me maybe. So let's jump in here. So you can see here we have kind of a unorderly organization here. So when we go to the menu bar, we go to View, and if we just simply hit Clean Up, then it kind of puts things into a grid, but it doesn't really do a lot of organizing. So you can see here where the first folder is Zoom, and then over here we have a folder name starting with a B. So then if we go here to the menu bar and go to View, and we choose Clean Up by Name, we could also clean up by kind, by date modified, date created, by size, but let's do name. So now they are much more orderly and they are in alphabetical order. And as you probably know, when it sorts alphabetically, numbers are sorted first. Another little tip, if you want something to sort first that's not a number, so let's say we want tea mug to sort first. So we're going to hit return to rename it, and you simply click in front of the first letter in the name and you hit your space bar, and now when we go back here to View and Clean Up by Name, you can see tea mug goes to the front of the class. So there's a little trick. If there's folders that you use often and you want them to be at the top of your list or files, just put a space in front of the name and they will sort first before the numbers and before the alphanumeric sort. So let's talk about the list view. I prefer the list view because it gives me a lot more information than the icon view. And we can set the order by clicking on the column headings. So we'll show that to you in just a second. We can also move the columns into different locations, and we can change the column width. And we can also show a preview of the file. So let's go back to the Finder. So we're going to go to our list view, which is the second choice here, the 3 horizontal lines. There we are in our list view. So if we click on the column heading, it will sort by that criteria. So you can see date modified is in black, everything else is grayed out. So if we click on name, you notice zoom is at the top, and now our TMUG folder with a space in front of the name is first, and then a number, and then alphabetical. But look at all this space here. We don't need that. So now if we go up here by the label, you see there's a faint vertical line here, and when you put your cursor on that, it changes to a vertical line with double arrows. So then you just move that over, and now you've got all this space. Now, of course, if we wanted to sort by size, we would click on size. And now we have the largest file on top. If we wanted to sort by kind, which is something that we use in the downloads folder. So let's click on the downloads folder over here in the sidebar and sort by kind. So we use this to get rid of those compressed files, those PKGs and zip and other compressed files. I have cleaned those out of my downloads folder, so I don't have them here. The only thing I have here would be an ICS file, which is an invitation that someone sent me. This is from November 14th. So I could get all the ICS files in one place, but I only have one, so that's there. So we can delete that either by right-clicking and moving it to trash, or we can hit Command Delete and it moves it to trash. So here we are in our Documents folder, and let's see what else we can do. So we can use the Go menu, which works when we're in the Finder. And we can go to our applications. The shortcut for that is Shift-A. We can go to the computer to get an overview of everything that's going on. The shortcut for that is Shift-Command-C. And we can go to our documents in the Go menu with Shift-Command-O. And you might be asking yourself, why is Documents not Shift-Command-D? Well, that's because Desktop is Shift-Command-D. So let's jump back into the Finder. We're going to go to the Go menu up here in the upper left. And you can see that those keyboard shortcuts are hidden here in plain sight. Documents, Shift-Command-O. Desktop, Shift-Command-D. Don't ask me why applications are all the way down here, but they are. And that's Shift-Command-A. So that's what you can do in the Go menu. You can also go to AirDrop You can go to turn on recents if you're looking for a recent file or folder that you've dealt with. Network, iCloud Drive, utilities folder. You can go to recent folders right here, and you can go to a specific folder by selecting Go to Folder. So in the view menu, when you're in the Finder, it only works when you're in the Finder, you can select which columns are displayed. So you can also change the text size, and you can change the icon size. So let's jump back into the Finder, and we're going to go into our documents, and then we go into the Finder in the upper left hand corner, and then we go to Settings, and so you have a lot of settings here. You can choose to show your hard disks or not. You can show your external disks, your CDs, DVDs, and iPods, and connected servers. But if we go over here, you get some choices. You can show file name extensions. You can show a warning before changing an extension, before removing from iCloud Drive, before emptying trash, and as we talked about last week, you can automatically remove things from trash, which means emptying trash, after 30 days. And here we have another little tip. You can keep folders at the top. So when you click on this, it keeps folders at the top. So as you can see here, the folders are already at the top. And let's see if happens if we unclick it. So we would have to do another cleanup to change that. So we'll just do that. Okay, so we're going to go into the View menu. And we're going to go down to View Options. So it's almost down to the bottom. So there's our View Options. And you notice here, it's kind of hard to see maybe, but this was going to be the View Options just for this folder that I happen to be in called Music 1. So let's change our folder to Documents. And let's change that to List View. And now let's go back to View and go to View Options. Command J is the shortcut. So now you can see it says Documents up here at the top. So here are the things that are presently selected. So date modified, size and kind. But I could also add some other things like date created. And that didn't show up because okay, so now you can see date modified is too narrow. So now I can make room for that. So here's the icon size. So you only have two choices, small and large. Here's the text size. You only have up to 16 point. If you want text to be larger on everything on your computer, then you need to go to the display resolution. So down here we have calculate all sizes. So you can see the folders don't have their sizes calculated. But when I click on calculate all sizes, then the folders get their size calculated. So down here at the bottom it says use as default. So if I click on this, then this criteria would be used on all of my windows. But right now it is just on the Documents window. So let's turn our attention to the sidebar, which is on the left-hand part of your Finder screen. So in the sidebar, you can move the desktop and documents to favorites if they are under iCloud Drive. Now, what happens is that by default, when you get a new computer, it puts your documents and your desktop in iCloud. The reason Apple does this is to save you space on your internal hard drive, because people that bought Macs with small hard drives like 128 and 256 would run out of space. So you have to be careful when you set up a new computer. If you want your documents and your desktop to be local, then you have to uncheck that default. So the reason that you might want them to be local is because if they're in iCloud and you lose internet access, you can't get to them. So if you want to move your documents and your desktop to your local drive, if you have enough room, then let me know. We can help you with that. So you can also add any folder or file to your favorites in the sidebar. So looking at our Finder, so you can see here I have moved documents and downloads from iCloud up here in favorites. So as I scroll down here under documents, I notice here that we are not in alphabetical order, so I'm going to click on name. I notice here that here is a keynote presentation that doesn't belong in documents. It belongs in my iCloud drive. So when you move files and folders, you can just move it to where you want to go. So I want to go to iCloud, and you just hold it there for a second, and then iCloud opens, and then you would move it to, come on, there we go. So if you bump at the bottom, it will scroll, and I went too far, so I'm going to bump the top. It'll scroll up, and somewhere I have here it is, Keynote. So now I hold it on Keynote, it opens Keynote, and it drops that file right in there. So just by moving to where you want to go when it's in a nested folder, it will open up for you, and you can go as many levels deep as you need to in moving files and folders. So you can also add any file or folder to your sidebar. So I'm going to go up here, scroll up to the bottom, or to the I'm going to actually go back, and I'm going to take this Keynote folder, and I'm going to put it, so you can see here the blue line. So you want the blue line to put it in between things. If you go here, it would put it inside the music folder. So you use the blue line to put it in between. So now my Keynote folder is right there in the menu bar. So you can move files and folders, of course, by dragging and dropping. We showed that just now. But did you know you can also copy and paste files and folders? Well, you can. So you can move a file and folder by doing Option copy, which would be Command C. So when you copy and paste, it stays at the original location and is also at the destination. So it's in two places. But if you move it, then it takes it from the original location, and now it's only in the future destination. So let's talk about that. So here we are. So I'm here in iCloud Drive, for example, and I notice that I've got several things here called voicemail. So I'm going to go up to my file in the menu bar, and I'm going to go down to the second choice here, which is create a new folder. And as you can see, that keyboard shortcut is Shift Command N for new. Then I could just start typing because it's already selected. So I'm going to make that a little different, voicemails. And then when I click anywhere else, it automatically alphabetizes it. So I can right click on that and choose Open in a new window. So that is another way to get a second window. So now I'm going to select this window, make it about half size. Now I'm going to go through here and find my voicemails. There they are. So I've got one here, which actually is a PDF, but these are audio recordings. So I click on the first one, I hold down the Shift key, click on the last one, that selects everything in between, and then I drag and drop. So in this case, that did in fact move it because they are no longer here. So I think that's because we are in iCloud that happened. So let's test that out. Let's go into Documents, and let's see here. Let's find something. We'll just use this one here, this checklist doc, and we're going to open a new folder and our new window, I should say. So let's put that in a folder here. Well, let's just create a new folder. So that is, again, Shift Command N, and we'll just call it checklist. And then we will open it by double clicking. Oops, it got away from us. So there it is. We're going to grab it by the top to reposition it. And grab this one a little bit. So now, if I'm in this folder here, my documents local, I hit a C and went right to checklist. So now when I drag this over, it does in fact move it. Okay. So we already talked about how to show folders on top. You go to Finder, Settings, Advanced, and keep folders on top. So let's talk about resizing windows, shall we? So as you probably know, you can place the cursor on the edge of the window. It could be the top, the bottom, the right, or the left, and that will resize the window. You can also place the cursor up in a corner, and that will resize the window either larger or smaller. But did you know that if you hold down the Option key, it will resize both sides? So let's see how that works. So we'll jump into the Finder. So here we have a window. So if we grab it over here, we get a double arrow, and it's just resizing the right. If we grab it over here on the left, we get a double arrow. It resizes it on the right. If we grab it in the corner, then it does a diagonal resizing. But if we hold down the Option key, let's see. I'm sorry, if we click on it, it goes all the way to the right side. On the left side, if we click on this, it goes all the way to the left side. And that didn't work the way I wanted it to. So we're going to close this one with Command W. And we're going to go back to our documents. And we're going to go back to our outline. So if we hold down the Option key, it will resize both sides. That's what I thought. So if we hold down the Option key, so that is not working. Oh, there we go. So you have to double click. So now, we just did that. Double click to expand the window to the screen's edge. We Option double click. And so let's see if this will work for us. Let's go back to the Finder. Yes. So when you do that, it makes it the maximum size while still maintaining the menu bar. So we'll talk about that here next. So let's talk about full screen. Now I get calls sometimes when someone says, I lost my menu bar. Well, somehow they got into full screen mode. And sometimes the system does that, it seems. Or sometimes you click on something inadvertently. So to get into full screen mode, you click the yellow dot in the upper left-hand corner of the window. To exit full screen mode, you have to bump the cursor arrow up to the top of the screen to reveal the menu bar because it is hidden in full screen mode. And then you click that same yellow button in the upper left to get out of full screen mode. So let's jump back into the Finder. We're going to resize this window. What's going on? So here we are. So here's our three dots. So we click on the yellow dot and that diminishes it. Okay, I'm sorry, it's not the yellow dot, my mistake. It's a green dot. So now you can see we've lost our menu bar. So to get back to normal, to see the menu bar, we bump the cursor arrow up here, and then we click on the green dot again, and we're back to normal. We have our menu bar. So that brings us to questions. If you haven't already, please put your questions and or comments in the comments field there on YouTube. And do me a favor, please let one person know this week about our little community here by forwarding the GoFor Gazette to them that use Apple products. So I came across something today that I had not seen before, and I got a notice on YouTube that ad blockers are not allowed. So I don't know if this was something they were rolling out on a gradual basis because they have so many users. They don't roll it out all at once. So there's two things that you have to do if you want to continue to use YouTube. I kind of like their little statement here. Ads allow YouTube to be used by billions worldwide. Actually, ads on YouTube allow Google to make billions worldwide. Of course, if you don't want to be bothered with that, you can pay, I don't know if it's $60 or $70 a month to go to YouTube Premium, or you can click here to allow YouTube ads, and then they give you the instructions. So there's two things that you can do. So if we jump into Safari, you will notice up here at the top, I have a little icon that is Ad Block Plus, ABP. So when we click on that, normally there'd be a checkbox here, which would mean block ads on YouTube, but I've unchecked it. So now they are not coming in and I can use YouTube. Hopefully that is clear. If not, let me know. The other thing you may have to do is go to Safari in the menu bar in the upper left-hand corner, go to Settings, and then go to Websites, which is this globe here in the middle. And you can see, because I'm on YouTube, it's got YouTube here at the top of the list, and this should be off. So I had to do both of those things. I did the ad blocker and YouTube worked, but then the next time I went back to YouTube, I got that message again, and I had to come in here to Safari Settings, websites and turn content blockers off. So you have to click on content blockers over here on the left. So turn content blockers off for YouTube. So hopefully that will save you some confusion if and when you see that, which I'm guessing you will see it. So let's see. Susan says, what if the files you want to move are not right together? Can you select them and move them all at the same time? Yes. Excellent question. And the way you do that is you click on the first file, one click to select it. Then you hold down the Command key and select all the other files that are non-contiguous. So that's how you select them. Select the first one, hold down the Command key, and select as many other ones as you like. So Susan says her yellow dot is brown. That's interesting. And Susan loves YouTube Premium. Concerts from all over the world and hours of music nonstop. So there's an endorsement for YouTube Premium. If you like your YouTube ad-free, that is the way to do it now. So good comments. Thank you, Susan. So hopefully you learned a couple of things. I know a lot of that was probably things you knew, but I think we had a few things in there that you didn't know. I know there was at least one thing in there that I didn't know. And Susan says YouTube Premium also gives you everything else that's on YouTube without ads. Exactly. So it is a good service. If you use YouTube a lot, it certainly is a lot more pleasant to use without those ads popping up at the beginning and in the middle and at the end of your video that you're trying to watch. Okay, if you have any suggestions of things you'd like me to cover on Go for Lunch, my contact information will be coming up here shortly. So just give me a call, send me an email, and I would be glad to tackle it, because when I learn, you learn. So thanks for joining. We'll see you next Tuesday at high noon for another Go for Lunch. Have a great day.